watching Leave It in the Ring. And welcome back to another edition of Leave It in the Ring. I'm your host, Dave Duenas, with my co-host, Gabriel Montoya, and the man behind the switchboard, our producer, David Chen. This is My Boxing official radio show. And, this, Friday Night Fights, man, they've been putting it together. They've been making things happen for us boxing heads who are waiting for the big fights to come back up.
This Vernon Paris versus Tim Coleman fight is going to be fun. These two guys do not like each other at all. I did an article today on Tim Coleman, and he had some things to say. I mean, apparently, they were supposed to fight on the undercard of Alexander and Bradley. Fight didn't happen for whatever reason, and Paris basically started talking a lot of trash, saying this guy's out of my league and this and that, and then turned, and basically they just kind of went back and forth. I guess Paris went on Coleman's Facebook and put a bunch of nasty comments, got all angry, and that was just awesome.
Really?
Guys, they just absolutely want to kill each other. I'm sure the weigh-in today was really fun. But, man, yeah, this is definitely going to be bad blood. I don't know if you've seen either of these guys. They're actually trained by both Mayweathers. Paris is trained by Floyd Sr.
Right.
Tim is trained by Roger.
Senior. Right.
But Senior's not with Paris anymore. Apparently, according to Coleman, he's left the camp because Paris wasn't in the kind of shape that he was supposed to be in. So it's going to be interesting. I'm picking Coleman in this. At first, I was leaning towards Paris just off skill set, but the more Coleman talked about certain things, the more I was like, I'm not picking Vernon Paris.
I've seen both guys. The thing I like about Paris that he does bring a little bit more pop than Coleman.
But I think, apparently, Coleman's been suspended twice. 3 times he's had decisions overturned and made no contest, apparently because of drug use. Coleman said it was crack. I couldn't verify that it was crack, so I couldn't write that it was crack, but that's what he was saying.
Wait. So who was busted for crack? Tested
apparently
for crack?
Vernon Paris. Well, but I don't know if that it was crack. It just said that he failed drug tests, and so they overturned the decision. Didn't say what it was. I wasn't able to find out before I went to print. So if anybody knows about the crack, then give me a call. But
when was that though? I mean, that was like back in 2008 though, right? When they overturned that. Inconclusive.
Yeah, there were 2 decisions I think in a row back in 2008. But I mean, the kid's young. He's only like 23.
Right.
And I don't know. As Coleman said, it was like, people don't usually stop doing drugs. So his contention is maybe he was still smoking crack. But
wow.
I don't know. I think it's physically like it's a great matchup. And style-wise, I think they'll really play to each other's strengths. But then you add in this thing, they just don't really like each other, like at all. It's become very personal. Like Tim was just straight up like, this isn't even about winning. I just want to hurt this guy as much as possible.
Right.
So I think it's going to be a good fight. It may not make up for not seeing Kelly Pavlik, but, what will, really? There's a hole in my heart for Pavlik that'll never be filled.
Paris hasn't lost. He lost by drug test, but he hasn't lost by an opponent. You know what I mean? Emmanuel Augustus was the last guy he stepped into the ring with, where Tim Coleman, his last opponent was Sergio Rivera and Patrick Lopez. But going to Emmanuel Augustus, I mean, it's Emmanuel Augustus. You know what I mean? A guy that should have. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's so hard to judge of who's going to really I like this fight. I do like this fight a lot.
Though, I think that Augustus was pretty done when Vernon Paris faced him. And he went the distance. Granted, that's going to be a guy that's going to be hard to stop, I think, until the day he dies. But I look at Tim Coleman's record, and that Patrick Lopez win I thought was really big for him. And I'm back. Okay. I'm here with junior welterweight contender who's going to fight on Friday Night Fights against Vernon Paris, Mr. Tim Coleman. Welcome to the show, Tim.
Hey, how's it going, boss? I'm doing pretty good. I'm over at the casino. We just sat down to eat after the weigh-in, so I'm feeling great.
How'd the weigh-in go?
Yeah, we want to know how the weigh-in went, bro. We were talking about the build-up and the kind of the not liking of each other. and we're all wondering, how did the weigh-in go? Was there some talk? Was there some scuffle, or was it just...
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, man. I got kicked out of the Chumash Hotel because I saw him in the lobby, and he had some nasty stuff to say, so I tried to punch him in the mouth. And my friend Raymond Zabetti grabbed me before I could do it, and the casino manager really wasn't having none of that. So they kicked me out, and I'm staying over at the Peace Suit Hotel about 20 miles down the road.
Oh,
wow.
Man. Hey, so you weren't able to, I mean, did you throw a punch or?
Yeah, I thought every time I get in swinging range of Vernon Paris fight for the rest of my life, I'm going to throw a punch. After the fight, if I see him after the fight, after I beat his ass, throw a punch if he gets within swinging range.
Tell us a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead, Dave. Go ahead.
Dave, tell us a little bit. I mean, what happened? What's the story? I mean, why is there so much animosity between you two?
Man, listen. I mean, to be honest with you, man, like me and him were supposed to fight on a Devin Alexander and Tim Bradley undercard, and I received the shoulder. So he started telling people that I was a coward. You know what I mean? And, if I was a coward, I wouldn't box because this is not a game where you can have a lot of fear. You know what I mean? So really any fear. And he started making some comments back and forth, which I really think it was his ghetto-ass manager. But, he made some comments on Facebook. He called me the Facebook queen because that's all I do. He said is go on Facebook. Well, I mean, I train and I sit in the house, and I do go on Facebook all fucking day. But, I mean, this guy's just a real jerk, man. He said some real nasty stuff on my Facebook page, and, I got a lot of children on my page, man, so I try to be the best kind of role model that I can be. And it just stemmed from there. And I told him, I said, every time I see you, I'm a bomb on you. And I saw him, so I swung on him. I'm a man of my word, and I promise you, every time I see him the rest of my life, I'm going to try to kick him in the nuts.
Oh, man. Now you...
That's Dave and I have the same agreement. Every time I see him, that's why we do the show in two different places. Every time I see him, I have to try to kick him in the nuts.
And every time I see him at his house in the lobby, I throw a punch at him. We're just not as accurate as you guys do.
Did you guys know this guy has 4 no contests on his record for doing drugs? Man, that's tripped out, man. Got suspended for smoking crack cocaine, then got suspended again for smoking marijuana, and then got suspended again for smoking marijuana, and then got suspended again for smoking crack again. Like, man, this kid doesn't know what the hell he wants to do with his life, man. And, I think he has his old trainer or old coach back in his corner again, because Floyd Sr. refused to come up here because, he said he has no tolerance for out-of-shape fighters. And he said there's got to be something more going on with him than just the training, because, I mean, he does the training regimen that they do, but he quits all the time in the gym. He got dropped by an amateur kid named Kevin Newman. He got folded up a couple times by these Eastern European cats that train with Dewey Cooper. Man, I mean, this kid just sucks, man, all the way around the board, man. He shows a big lack of heart. I mean, he fought no reputable opponents who weren't over the age of 35 or 36. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, people talk about, you don't have that much knockout power, but I fought at heavier weight classes, and, this kid's fought 125-pounders coming up to 140. You know what I mean? Never really a real junior welterweight opponent.
Is that refreshing for yourself? I mean, knowing, because I was looking at your record, and I didn't even notice. I was like, man, you fought at 157.25 pounds, and that you're actually going in this time as the bigger guy, because Paris is always fought at a lower weight class.
Hey, but you know something? He was seriously struggling to make weight. Let me tell you guys, man, I woke up yesterday, and I ate like crazy because I'm really nervous about flying. And when I got to layover, guess what I did? I went straight to Quiznos. I got 2 sandwiches because when I get nervous, I eat, man. And so I ate 2 sandwiches. I had a milkshake. You know what I mean? I went back to the bar. Got a big glass of cranberry juice. Man, I ate pretty good. And I got here, and I was only 3 pounds overweight. You know what I mean? And wow. I just waited to probably an hour and a half before the weigh-ins to even try to get it off. You know what I'm saying? And he's been running. He ran 3 times yesterday. You know what I mean? He sat in the sauna today. I sat in the sauna to lose 1/4 of a pound. You know what I mean? I pretty much could have came under, really, but after I got out of the sauna, man, I couldn't help it. I drunk a whole glass of apple juice, and, you know, I still came in that weight. I think he's going to be pretty weak. He looks sick as hell. I think it might be all the crack he was smoking when he was in Vegas. I don't know. You guys got to tell me.
So, Tim, is this going to be a boxing match, or is this going to be a street fight in the ring? Is that what we're?
Hey, man, it looks like. Have you guys ever watched that show, The Bully Beat Down on MTV? That's exactly what it's going to be, man. I'm going to whip his ass. You know, I couldn't describe it any other way or put it any other way. This is going to be a beat down. You know what I mean? Roger had a game plan, and he's just beat the shit out of him. He's like, just walking in. He's like, don't aim for his head. He's like, aim for his body, his arms, his hips, his back, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit him everywhere but the face. And around about the 5th or 6th round, I'm going to start dropping headshots on him. And when I drop those headshots, his punk ass is going to quit. Or he's going to try to start fouling, and he's going to do something because he's going to be feeling more pressure than he ever felt in his whole goddamn life. And he's going to be hitting me like, damn, what the hell is going on? Well, what's going on is that you've been fighting guys that are lighter weight your whole life. That's what's been going on.
Oh, man.
I can't wait to see this fight. Yeah, I'm excited, man. So you're pretty settled in at 140.
And by the grace, if God blesses him, and by some chance, and I believe there's no way in hell, but if he gives him a win, I'm going to release the tapes of him smoking crack. I got him on my phone. You know, his ex-girlfriend emailed him to me, man. It's funny as hell, man. He had some basketball shorts on, dress socks, and some dress shoes, man. And she goes from him to the crack pipe, from him to the crack pipe. He tore our house up, man, and he goes from him to the crack pipe. Man, he's a weird guy, man.
Wow. Oh, man, that's terrible. I mean, his
his ex-girlfriend, yeah. That's my baby now. I forgot to tell you guys too, man. And she's a really good chick, man. I can't believe that she was even with him for 4 months, man. She said that's all she could take because he's a little asshole, man. She's like he never really made any real money in boxing, and he never wanted to work a job, so he lived with her, man. He's just a jacked up person all around. And, you know, normally I wouldn't bring up all his faults, but you know, since he chose to say all that bullshit about me and all those other stupid interviews, you know, I just had to come as hard as I possibly could with it.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
You know, at the end of the day, that's it. But, you know, I'm going to let my hands do a lot of talking in the ring. I'm going to beat his ass.
Hey, you have an interesting background. We talked about your early days and how you grew up in the gym. Tell us about that, you know, when you got to Vegas when you were like 13 and how you got into boxing.
Man. My dad's a journeyman electrician, you know what I mean? He's with the IBW. So, I mean, he went to Vegas on a pool tournament one time, and he discovered that there was a lot of work there, and at the time there was no work in Baltimore, so he went out there for about a year before I did. You know, I was living with my grandmother. She found out she had cancer, so I moved to Vegas, and, you know what I mean, like, I was pretty much a screw-up as a kid, man, but, you know, my dad took me into the boxing gym because a friend of his knew Floyd, and with the Nevada Partners boxing gym, man, and that was probably the best gym I've ever been in my life. You know, so many world champions came through there. But when I walked through those doors, man, probably for the first year of boxing, I was what they call the moving target, man. You know what I mean? All those Mexican kids used to just kick my ass. And then finally, after a year, I got a fight. You know, took 10 losses straight. You know what I mean? Won, like, 12 straight. Took 10 more losses straight. You know what I mean? Like, but, you know, I lived, ate, and slept boxing. When I was a kid, you know, besides hanging out on the street, boxing was the only thing I wanted to do. And, you know, it's the only thing I've been doing for pretty much my whole life since then.
You watched, you named off a bunch of guys, like Holyfield came through there, or Lennox Lewis came through there, Tyson came through there.
Lennox Lewis, I mean, you got Zab Judah, Lennox Lewis, Floyd trained there, Steve Forbes was there. You know what I mean? If you name a guy, man, he went through Nevada Partners when that gym was open because that was the gym that everybody came to train at. You know, Mike Tyson used to always come talk to us as kids. I mean, the who's who of boxing came through that gym, man. If they came into town to train for a fight, they were at Nevada Partners boxing gym.
And that's pretty much where you learn what it's like to train and be a professional. Yeah.
Yep. Of course. This is all I do. If you name it, I was in there with them. I mean, everybody, man.
And you've traveled all over the world sparring, too. You've been in Ricky Hatton's camp. You said you were in Germany for a period of time. You think that's really the difference here is you've got world-class experience, even if it's just sparring, but you've been exposed to that level and you responded to it by adopting some of their work ethic, whereas the guy you're facing hasn't.